Nothing helped with my anxiety until I learned and applied these 5 things. So, first one being knowing that anxiety was my body's way of telling me that I was living way too much in the future and not in the present moment. So, I'm not sure if you guys have heard this before, but when you are depressed, you're thinking too much about the past, and when you're anxious, you're thinking too much about the future. So, whenever I was feeling anxious, I took that as my body's way of letting me know you're not in the present moment. Be a little bit more still, take in some deep breaths, do whatever it is that you have to do to kind of self-regulate and make sure that you're paying attention and observing and communing with and being a part of interacting with life, present moment life. Second thing was I started taking notice of how I was doing something and not exactly why I was doing it. I was always having some sort of reason as to why I was doing something at this moment, at this time, right now, it has to get done, but I wasn't paying attention enough to how I was doing something. And I learned through this experience that every single time I do anything, it's how I do everything. And I noticed I was rushing a lot in my life. So it really stopped me from rushing and allowed me to take more of my time with what I was doing so that I could enjoy what I was doing and not just kind of get in my own hamster wheel of productivity and getting things done, always checking off the next tick on the list. Third thing I started doing was asking my shadow self what it was that I was not paying attention to and what was kind of hiding from me and lurking around the corners that I could just look at and say, hey, I'm facing you, I'm giving you the time and attention, I want to be here with you, whether that was some sort of trauma or unresolved inner child issue that I had going on. I just had to play the why game and ask myself, why am I feeling anxious? Whenever I got an answer, I said, okay, well, why do I feel that way? Whenever I got an answer, I said, okay, well, when did that happen? And what was the first time that you can remember? And I would just play that question game with myself until I got to the root cause of my anxiety. Then I could sit with my inner child or that past former version of myself, let them know that everything was okay. And that really helps every single one of my anxious triggers. Now, I still do have anxious triggers, but I have a lot less than I started with, and that's definitely something. Fourth thing was I started observing how I was going to sleep and how I was waking up. And in this process, I realized that less is more. And I cut out alarms. I cut out racing to get things done early in the day, and really just focused on making myself breakfast and taking a walk with my dogs and enjoying it instead of rushing them through their own morning walk. And that's really, really helped me, as well as at the end of the day, I just make sure that I'm kind of cutting out a lot of the social media or TV time, tuning back into my body, and then resting. Fifth thing is moving my body and shaking up all that pent up energy, because I realize that sometimes anxiety is just me having a lot of energy that I haven't really done anything with. So moving my body allows me to release that. Another way that I released my anxiety is through grounding. And if you need help with that, I have a free Heal Your Energy training, link in my bio, scroll all the way down.